Next inductee, as a coach, is Chuck LaVetter. Chuck, come on up here. I was talking to Chuck earlier, and he grew up with Buddy Doolin, and of course, and his brother Roland, and they always played basketball together. It'd be interesting to see one of their pickup games. Anyways, Chuck LaVetter is a coach.
Thank you. I didn't even have a chance to walk up here. I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to the Pima County Sports Hall of Fame Committee. It's a great honor for me. I'd also like to thank Ed Nunez, who nominated me. Used to play tennis with him. To my family and friends, for the lifelong support that you have given us. I had some great moments with my brother growing up, and we grew up right by Speedway in Campbell. This is some history. And across the street was the U of A. So we went to every athletic event growing up. Bat Boys, he was even a football mascot when we got killed by ASU. And got to go up there. But anyway, my time began at the Stork's Nest. Does anybody know what that is? And then I went to grade school at Sam Hughes and got paddled by the principal because I was sick, and they took me in there and they said, "You're not sick," and he paddled me and I threw up. That was the next occasion. And then when I was in Mansfield, and I played all 4 sports, but I left my track shoes out. And the next day I came to school, and Coach Jones says, "Are these your track shoes?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Bend over, grab your ankles," and he swatted me. So that was the 2 people swatted me, except for my mother. She used to do that all the time. I used to think Buddy Doolin used to come over to play with me, but he had a crush on my sister. As a sophomore at Tucson High, Catalina, I think just about opened, and we called them Disney School. But I remember playing, and I got to play a lot as a sophomore. And I was dribbling the ball out at half court. Time was running out, and Morales is over there yelling at me. And so I looked up to look at him, and I dribbled the ball off my foot. Went out of bounds. But I made a great play at the end of the game, and we won. I also remember playing at Old Bear Down when the state championships were at Bear Down or at ASU, and as a sophomore got to play a bunch in that championship series. But at Tucson High, we lost the championship game to Phoenix Union. I think they were undefeated, and we probably lost because I didn't pass the ball enough to Jim Douglas. Then I went to Eastern Arizona College. It was EAJC at that time, and played 2 years. And we got to play in the regionals 2 years. And the first year we went up to Boise, Idaho, and we couldn't stop this guy. And at halftime, our coach McGrath was yelling at us, "How come you can't stop this guy?" Well, that guy, his name was Gus Johnson. And the second year we played Weaver, and these are all 4-year schools now, Division I schools, and we lost to them also. But that's where Coach Larson won his national championship, besides being second when he was at Eastern Arizona. Played at the U of A and watched a lot. And then I got to coach the freshman team with Cedric Dempsey. And we did a lot of traveling on the bus. But anyway, I was responsible for drilling the big people as a pre-practice. And then my second responsibility was going to the north end of Old Bear Down Gym, and there was a big net there. And the net was there because the gymnastic team, that was their area. And so I got the push broom because there was chalk all over the court, and so I had to push it off. And then my next responsibility was old Nick Wallace. He was the equipment manager. Had a big old cigar, and he knew everybody, but he'd give me a hammer, and he'd say, go out there and hammer the nails down. And I said, hammer the nails down? Well, around the key and the old bear down, there was nails sticking up off the floor, so I had to go out there and hammer them down. That was one of my responsibilities. I remember being hired at Eastern Arizona College as a head baseball coach. And I really hadn't played baseball for many years. And then I went to every baseball clinic I could go to, Ted Williams. You know, I did it all. Anyway, I was hired as a baseball coach and assistant basketball coach. At that time, they didn't think much of the baseball program. But we had kids from Duncan, Clifton, Eloy, San Manuel, and Tucson. And we won more baseball games than they've ever won before. So that was a great stride for me. And I think when I was coaching baseball, we beat Mason, Jim Brock, and he ended up being at ASU. But anyway, he was so mad that this little old team could beat him that he put everybody back on the van. They didn't shower, they didn't eat, they headed home to Mesa. So that was impressive. When I first started coaching, I said, just give me some players, I will win. I found out that wasn't correct. If you have good players, you have good teams. If you have great players, you have great teams. And so I figured that out after 35 years. I was also the punting coach one year. The reason being my son was a punter. And I had to direct him in the right direction, and he got a scholarship to Utah. So that was great. And I'll tell you why I don't like officials. And you're going to have to, I'll apologize right now. Because I know there's 2 or 3 being inducted today. We were in the regional tournament, and it came down to the last 4 seconds, and we were ahead. And they took the ball the length of the court and the basket, and they counted the basket good. And I can still remember that happening. And the official that called the play, good. So that's why I didn't like officials. In 94, 84, we had a great team. In 94, we had a real good team. We were undefeated going into the national tournament. We had newspaper articles, television. Dick Vitale mentioned us, and we were going into the national tournament. Well, we beat a very good Central team coached by Gary Hines. And I'll tell you, coaching basketball in the league, I don't know if people know how many bus hours we put on a bus. Probably 100,000 miles. And we got to beat in the national tournament, which was a big loss to us. My coaching philosophy was formed by Coach Larson and my brother. Coach Larson had his practice down to 2 hours. My brother might have had the same practice. It took him 4.5 hours. And at one time we were all a coaching family. Roland at Pueblo and Rincon, Lance was at New Mexico State, who's now at Washington. My son David was at Dixie, and I was at the AC. So I think you'd call that a coaching family. I coached the men and women's basketball team at the same time for 3 years, and both teams made the regional tournament, and 2 of our good players were from CDO. I coached my daughter in the BCI in the summer, And I think that's the first time I really made her cry, because they were pressing all over, and I said, "Don't you pass the ball, you dribble it up the court." And she just busted out crying on me. So I'd like to leave you with this thought: a single moment can spark a lifetime of beautiful memories. Thank you.